Milk lemonade, is it time to initiate a Bitcoin trade? Unbelievable, for the past 48 hours, Bitcoin has been unable to get a single 4-hourly close above this absolutely key fib and horizontal resistance level. With time absolutely running out with this lower ascending support and upper horizontal resistance, is Bitcoin destined to make a move within the next 24 hours? And our first touch on the 50-day moving average in over 2 months for the DXY. What does this mean for Bitcoin? Let's make a mess. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Billy Beansprout. My friends call me Beans, and my ex-wife called to tell me the kids were never mine in the first place. Guys, Bitcoin is absolutely in crunch mode right now, and we're going to show you on these charts why there's just so little time left. And this will be a very decisive factor for Bitcoin playing out over the next few weeks. And specifically, it'll give us a very good idea of what can we expect from altcoins, because depending on what Bitcoin does here, whether we continue to trade sideways, dump, or actually initiate a pump, it's going to be able to tell us a lot about what we can expect for our altcoin gains in the very immediate short term. So if you guys absolutely love having a thick piggy bank, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you get updated when we upload these absolutely time-sensitive, life-changing updates. And without any further ado, let's dump in. Now, this is what we've been waiting for. Looking at this daily chart, it's very clear now at this point, after we got a rejection off of this long-term support line for Bitcoin on its entire way up from $20,000 to $42,000, when it got initially rejected 4 days ago on January 14th. It has been a downward dumpage ever since, and this 21-day moving average is just getting battered, beaten, slapped, and spit on right here. It's absolutely insane. So now, with two pretty somewhat indecision candles, currently we're still trading within one, what is Bitcoin's trajectory going to be? And we're going to actually zoom in on some of these charts, and the picture becomes a little bit more clear there. But before we do, guys, if we take a look at the DXY, this thing is shaping up very interestingly, as overnight it did actually come up here to this 50-day moving average right here for the first time since, I believe, like November 4th or something like that. The last time it was on the 50-day moving average was, November 5th. That was the last time that there was a candle or a wick that touched there. And now this is our very first time in over 2 months that we've done that. Now, it'll be very telling to see what Bitcoin does over this next week, as one of the things that the DXY has done in the past week is find support after breaking above the 21-day moving average and heading up to that 50-day moving average. The DXY is just the US dollar index, which has a very strong inverse correlation to Bitcoin. If you're wondering why I'm talking about the DXY, it's because when this pumps, Bitcoin usually dumps, and when this dumps, Bitcoin usually pumps. Now, if we go to the weekly chart for Bitcoin, you can see here, looking on a long-term kind of macro outlook for Bitcoin, this looks completely healthy. It absolutely is completely healthy, and dare I say, another continued pullback in the short term would also be completely healthy here. Definitely want to reset some of this stuff, guys. But if we go here to, let's actually start it on the 1 hour chart. So if we actually just take our fibs from the recent high, or the all-time high of 42,000, down to that really big swing down to all the way to about 30,000 exactly, you can see after we hit that target, the next time we went up and we got rejected right around the 618, then we got pushed back down to that next level of a 0.236. We went all the way up, and we actually did breach the golden pocket of this fib retrace here. Very, very critical. But you can see we immediately got rejected down to that next leg. And yet again, we tested that again here most recently yesterday when we hit about 34,800. And now you can see after that move, we tried to bounce back up to reclaim some of those key fib levels, and we didn't, right? It's just been lower high after lower high. You see that here. But similarly, it's basically been higher low after higher low, not counting this most recent dip here. And now Bitcoin's an absolute critical crunch time, because if we go to the 4 hour, this was the 1 hour chart. If we go to the 4 hour chart and just kind of get a bigger picture of what's going on here, Bitcoin is clearly consolidating in some sort of clear symmetrical triangle pattern. But more importantly, over the last 48 hours, Bitcoin has not been able to get a single 4 hour close above 36,600. I mean, more specifically, like 36,550 or 36,000. Yeah, right around 36,500, which is a pretty important level here. So as you can see, we have not had a single 4 hour close above that level. We've gotten a few wicks here, but we have gotten pushed back down. And as well, we've found support on an ascending line right here as well. So within this little channel, we've gotten rejected over and over horizontally here, but we've gotten support ascending here for Bitcoin's price. Now, this structure is really important because this goes back for over a week now. You can see here, this is a very important level of Bitcoin to hold support, and you can see that our level of resistance has been getting smaller and smaller, but specifically within the last 2 days, what's happened is we aren't revisiting the top of this triangle anymore. We're not revisiting 38,000 or even 37,000 anymore. Currently, we're just struggling to get closes within this horizontal line. So this basically ends within the next 24 hours. So this small level of consolidation, which Bitcoin is still fighting in right at this very moment, is going to be ending within the next day, within the next 24 hours. So very critical times for Bitcoin. There do seem to be some hidden bullish divergences on like the daily chart. I think it might actually be on the 6-hour chart as well. However, guys, this is just such a critical zone because if Bitcoin fails to hold the 21-day, because we just keep testing it, Bitcoin just keeps testing it, and we're not going to get a clear picture of what Bitcoin wants to do in the very short term until we get a concrete bounce off of here or until we collapse below it. So looking on these small time frames of this symmetrical triangle, the breakdown target would actually be roughly 24 to 25,000 US dollars. But I don't think that actually is where Bitcoin would go if we did break. And for one of the reasons here, we do have a pretty big solid area of support right around 30,000 US dollars. It's the next big level on this 10-month ascending channel that I have here, that Bitcoin has been respecting these lines over and over and over again for literally the last 10 months, maybe 11 months by this point. So 30,000, and obviously 30,000 is also just a huge psychological level. 30,000 is just as psychological and big and round as 40,000 US dollars. So even though we're in this sideways consolidation pattern, that if we did break down here, if we break 34,000, I think that will really trigger it, because keep in mind, just if we just creep out a little bit of this triangle, that's totally fine, right? You see we have fake outs many times. This happens on basically every triangle, every consolidation pattern. Sometimes the wicks go a little bit outside of the structure. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't invalidate the pattern until you get significant, 4 6-hour daily closes or something like that, which on the 4-hour chart, we don't even have 4-hour closes anywhere outside of this. So even if we would come down a little bit here, it doesn't mean much until we break 34,000, at which point I think if 34,000 breaks, ultimately it's very likely that an amazing entry that if you would be able to time it would be amazing would be right around 30,000 US dollars. On this chart, it would look something like this. If we breached this 21-day, it would look like this, coming down to right about 30K. You might be asking, well, why don't you think it would come down to the 50-day around 27? If we actually did initiate a pretty big dump here, right? We're already weeks into a decent move to the downside that began back on January 8th. We've kind of just been on a downward trajectory since January 8th for the last 10 days. If Bitcoin does break this 21-day moving average, it is possible that we could revisit the 50-day moving average in a wick, but ultimately, guys, the exact scenario that I think would happen if we got our strongest downside move possible in the next 24 or 48 hours, if we got our very strongest downside move, what I think would make the most sense, worst case scenario, right? I'm talking like the lowest I think we could go is that it is possible that we could wick down to 25, 26, 27,000 US dollars right around that 50-day moving average. But ultimately, I think it would very quickly go up to around 30,000 US dollars. So while I do think that could be possible, worst case in the very short term, I think it would immediately get bought up. I think 30,000 would be reclaimed almost immediately. And that's even factoring in the DXY here. But again, we really want to see what happens this week, because last week we got a huge confirmation. We broke above the 21-day moving average, and then it was a real big test. Like, could we actually find support here? You saw a really big green candle on the DXY up above the 21-day, massive engulfing bearish candle the next day, but ultimately found support exactly at the 21-day moving average. The following day we bounced again, but you can see we immediately came back down to that 21-day, so it was a battle. It was not easy for the DXY to reclaim the 21-day moving average. It was difficult for the DXY, but you can see after it did get a few days to test that, and it decided, yes, this is actually going to be support, you see it move up to this next level, the 50-day moving average, and now this will be very key, because a strong rejection off of here will push it back down to this 21-day, and if it fails to hold there, then it is likely we could see a much further drop with the DXY, potentially all the way down to this $88 level for the DXY over the next week or so. And the other thing we have to keep in mind as well is that we talked about 30K being huge for the reason it's, support here. It's also 30K, which is huge, but also 30K, and actually 30K to 32K is absolutely a massive Fibonacci level. If you take the fib from the high of 2017 to the low of that bear market, you can see all of these fib levels have been insanely critical for Bitcoin, and obviously trading in between 32 to 40K has just been such a critical zone for Bitcoin. And again, when we zoom in, you can't really tell much by looking at this weekly chart, but when you zoom into this 1 and 4 hour chart, you can see that in fact we are really in crunch time. And unless Bitcoin is able to reclaim a 4 or 6 hour close above 37,000 US dollars, the momentum really looks like it could push Bitcoin to the downside in the short term. But we always have to be aware that if we did get a breakdown to say maybe 32, even 30K, there would be a high likelihood that we could see a very strong rejection of a breakout and actually push higher from there. Absolutely insane, guys. So let's actually pick a winner for the hardware wallet and or Bitcoin or TA giveaway. Okay, so video number 1. So let's go here, copy the link address, and then we will pick the winner. Guys, make sure to reply to your winning comment and then shoot me an email so I can verify. And yeah, then you just let me know what you want. If you want access to T4, if you want Bitcoin or hardware wallet, and let's see who the winner is. Bob Christensen, brother, thanks Timmy. Bless, Bobby. Make sure to shoot me an email and we can get you your prize. Unbelievable, guys. So make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you get these time-sensitive critical updates. And for anybody interested in trading these markets, if you have experience only and you want to support the channel, make sure to take advantage of up to $620 limited time bonus on Bybit. The information is below.